tonight. A Liberal MP in St. John's says funding for vulnerable youth was not guaranteed. That story and
Jamie Korab has won the by-election in Waterford Valley and will be the province's newest MHA.
You know, I've got 7 years of understanding the city, and I'll take that experience to the province. So I think I'll basically hit the ground running.
I'm Heather Gillis, and I'll have that story coming up on Here and Now.
I'm going to really enjoy watching the game and seeing the reaction of the players, and for me that's a cool reward to see these guys, how passionate they're going to be competing for this.
Teams are competing for the inaugural NL Cup. We'll find out the inspiration behind this brand new trophy and meet the designer.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. Liberal Jamie Korab will be the province's newest MHA. He won the by-election in Waterford Valley last night with 45% of the vote. Here and Now's Heather Gillis was there for the results.
After two back-to-back PC by-election victories, the Liberals' Jamie Korab kept Waterford Valley red. The soon-to-be former St. John City Councillor says he's ready to get to work.
I've got 7 years of understanding the city, and I'll take that experience to the province. So I think I'll basically hit the ground running.
Just over 4,500 people cast a ballot in last night's by-election. Jamie Korab won with 2,067 votes. The PC's Jesse Wilkins trailed by 644, earning just over 1,400 votes. And just over 1,000 voters marked an X for the NDP's Nicole Boland. Premier Andrew Furey says he'll be leaning on Korab in the House, but won't say if his newest MHA will be getting a cabinet post. Korab replaces Tom Osborne, the province's longest-serving MHA, who retired earlier this summer.
And so while Tom leaves big shoes to fill, Jamie has big feet.
Despite its third-place showing, the NDP say they weren't disappointed with their campaign.
I think we highlighted a lot of things that people will be talking about for a while, and that's a win at the end of the day. So feeling pretty good.
Because of the province's fixed date election rules, the next general election has to happen sometime in or before November 2025. And that means people will be heading to the polls again sometime in the next year. Both Korab and the Premier say they'll be back.
Because I can announce now I'm planning on running again in a year's time.
He's not getting rid of his signs.
I'm keeping my signs.
And I wanted to ask you something, Premier, that Minister Cody mentioned. She said, she was talking about your record over the last 4 years and said over the next 4. Does that mean you're going to run for Premier in the next general?
Yes, absolutely.
Meanwhile, the PCs didn't speak to the media, but they did offer congratulations to Korab on social media. 42% of eligible voters turned out at the polls. There's no word on when Korab will be sworn in, but his election means there's a vacancy on St. John City Council, and that could trigger a by-election there. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, a judge has dismissed an assault charge against an RCMP officer accused of using excessive force against a volatile air passenger. The Crown's case against Constable Jeffrey Cormier relied heavily on this social media video. It shows the man's head hitting a police SUV before he's pushed into the vehicle. Now, the incident happened last year in Stephenville. The court heard the man aboard the flight was drunk and abusive and that it took 6 people on the aircraft to hold him down before the emergency landing. Judge Rolf Pritchard said today there are moments in the video where it's difficult to see what's happening, and he could not conclude beyond a reasonable doubt that Cormier had used excessive force. A lawyer recently acquitted of sexual assault is suing the RNC and the Justice Department, accusing them of malicious prosecution. Earlier this summer, Robert Regular had all charges against him dismissed. The judge found inconsistencies in the testimony of the complainant. The Crown had since appealed, and last week, Regular filed a lawsuit that names 3 Crown prosecutors and the RNC investigator who laid the charges. Regular is seeking an array of damages. His claims have not been tested in court. No statement of defense has been filed yet. The Liberal MP for St. John's East says the federal government is not cutting funding for Choices for Youth. The nonprofit group says it will receive $16 million less from Ottawa over the next 4 years than expected. Staff said they've had to lay off 16 full-time employees and make cuts to 2 social enterprises. But MP Joanne Thompson says the money was part of a specific 4-year program, and there was no guarantee the group would get the same amount again.
It's not a cut. You have a contract for a specific period of time, beginning to end, and then you're free to go on to either, have self-sustained because you built internal capacity, or you can continue in the same stream and look to apply for other programs. But it doesn't guarantee that if you received funding in one block of time that you're necessarily going to receive it in the next round.
Well, the new chair of Memorial University's Board of Regents says he'll keep an open mind as he takes over the position. The province appointed property developer Justin Lotta to the role this week. He takes over as the university searches for its next president. Both the Student Union and Faculty Association have been critical of how the university chooses its leaders. But Lotta says this presidential search will be more transparent.
With respect to transparency, yes, we hear that. We listen. We're keeping an open mind, and I would tell you over the coming few months, there will be consultations run by the Board of Regents and the selection committee with key stakeholders, and we will listen with an open mind. And those consultations will help design the profile for the next president.
Well, St. John's is asking residents for feedback on the downtown Pedestrian Mall as it nears the end of its 5th summer. Here Now's Jessica Singer headed to Water Street today to ask people what they want to see at the Strip next year, and they had some creative answers.
Pedestrian Mall, yay or nay?
Yay.
And what do you like about it?
It's nice to come out during lunch. Like, we obviously work down here, and just take a walk up and down the street and, sit outside and have a bite to eat, or in the evening come down and have a drink with some friends.
Oh, absolutely yay. Love it. Come down here every time I'm in town. It's fabulous. They did a beautiful job, and I would highly recommend it to everybody to make the trip.
We love that there's no cars. You can walk wherever you want, and food out on the street. It's great.
But just the freedom of shopping and not having to worry about, like he said, there's no cars. It's just all us pedestrians enjoying this beautiful city.
You can walk slow and check out the stores. With being a tourist, it's nice. We want to walk slow to see what's around. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and lots of places to sit. There's lots of tables if you're wanting to sit and have a break. Definitely lots of bars to stop in and have a drink.
I bet you on when George Street on the weekends, I bet you this is a perfect Friday night atmosphere. If you want to get dressed up and go out with your husband or your girlfriends or wherever, it's awesome.
I think it's great. It's been really nice to be able to explore and just kind of walk along the street. Yeah, it's great.
The city is looking for feedback on it. What do you think could be done to make the pedestrian mall even more of a yay?
I think just like more patios and things to attract businesses. Like, I think every year we see more and more, but the more patios and places for people to sit outside and enjoy lunch or a meal or a drink, it'll be very attractive.
More activities in the street would be great.
More patios.
More patios.
Bring on the patios. I love the patios.
Yeah, like farmers markets type things would be great.
Like there should be music. More music down here.
In the weekdays and stuff as well, because there's a lot of tourists come here in the weekdays because it's not as busy.
Traditional Newfoundland music and stuff would be nice.
Yeah, but murals, the history, murals would be nice. City stuff is great, but you want to get the history of a place, especially Newfoundland.
Let's just pretend we were to rebrand it. What would a new word for this be? Like, what's a catchier name?
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Pedestrian Mall. It's like you can't change it now because it's stuck and it's been here for a couple of years.
The walkabout?
I love that.
Water Street Walkabout. Okay.
Water Street Walkabout. That's amazing.
The walk on water, maybe? Something like that?
That was beautiful.
That's
wow.
Good. Yeah.
You're so creative, man.
I'm thinking everything and more, something like that. Newfoundland pedestrian walk, everything you want plus more.
St. John's Strip.
I don't know.
I love that. Yeah. That's great. St. John's trip. Why not?
Yeah. That could be taken many ways.
Well,
yeah.
It weighs about as much as the Stanley Cup, but it's only about half the size. It looks like a work of modern art, but this Sunday it is going to be hoisted and passed around and celebrated with at a raucous soccer tournament at King George V Field in St. John's. I am talking about the NL Cup. Let's speak with the man who sculpted this thing. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Morgan McDonald, and I'm a sculptor, and I work at the Newfoundland Bronze Foundry.
And this is your latest creation, Morgan. Tell us all about it.
We were trying to come up with design, something that would be unique, something special for the province, something that all the players would be looking forward to competing with. And so there was a lot of consultation and coming back with some things that might speak to the history of the province and sort of the culture here. So one of the things that came up in our discussions, and it was suggested to me, that Newfoundland pitcher plant would be a pretty interesting and cool thing to incorporate into a trophy. And of course, we have the coat of arms of Newfoundland here. So a great deal of time and effort was spent creating this coat of arms to make this special for this piece. So
this is a very special occasion. This is the first, the inaugural NL Cup. This is going to be played for the first time, awarded for the first time at the championship on Sunday. What kind of challenge does that represent for you in order to create something brand new and something that people were going to be seeing for the first time in such a big public event?
Yeah, well, you think of like the history of all the these world famous trophies. It's like the Stanley Cup, or for Newfoundland the Boyle Trophy. These are kind of iconic pieces. So you want to create something unique, something that throughout the years, it's going to have a bit of lineage and heritage and, create a legacy for the sport here. So, we're starting new. We're trying to create a tradition. So this has to be unique. This has to be special, has to be something that we can all kind of rally around, be proud of. So the design is something a bit unique. It's when you picture a cup, you think of a vessel. This is more like the negative subtractive space. So you're not seeing an actual vessel here. You're just kind of getting the hint, the suggestion of a cup. So the shapes are kind of making reference to that.
And I understand you had to approach it in a different way from how you've created some of your other sculptures in the past. Can you talk about that?
It's not representative, so it's kind of abstract. It's it's an object, it's a trophy. Have a bit of fun with it. So not be so because you can take stuff really serious all the time, but I want to do something really creative and kind of like explore your passion through the use of the material and kind of bring out some of the things that I think are pretty interesting, including the color and the polish and the bronze and that kind of stuff.
Morgan, most of your pieces are displayed publicly, and anytime anyone or you want to walk by the rower and appreciate it, they certainly can. But this is something that's going to only really come out once a year.
Yeah.
So what's it going to feel like for you on Sunday afternoon when this piece comes out for the first time, and then again we might not see it again until it's presented again the following year?
I think that's pretty amazing. I'm going to really enjoy watching the game and seeing the reaction of the players, and for me that's a cool reward to see these guys how passionate they're going to be competing for this. So that's a new thing, and I think I'm going to really enjoy that.
Well, the weather this weekend for the tournament looks pretty nice. In fact, by the time we get into Sunday, summer-like weather certainly returning. I'll get into all the details coming up.
bit cooler out there today, Ashley. I was down to the Pedestrian Mall earlier today, actually, doing an interview that's going to be on next week, speaking with some great people down there today. But I wished I had brought a coat because it was chilly.
Yeah, it certainly was. Temperatures so topped out at about 18 degrees this afternoon in St. John's. Let's take a look at across the province. It's not too bad out there as you head towards central. Terra Nova sitting at 24, but Badger and Gander sat somewhere between 20 and 21 degrees this afternoon. Now, we do have some warm temperatures up across Labrador, and this is just the beginning of the warm temperatures this weekend. Lab City sat at 23 degrees this afternoon. Taking a look at where we're sitting now, it's still decent up across Labrador and dropping into the teens now for most of the island. And we are going to see some cooler temperatures at least through tomorrow, and then things are going to really start to ramp up. So we've had some rain push through, some lightning embedded in there as well. In fact, about 16 millimeters of rain fell in the an hour and a half in Gander. So some of those showers pretty heavy, and at the moment making their way towards the Bonavista Peninsula, and that will generally continue as we head through the night tonight. Now, taking a look at the future tracker, doing a pretty good job at showing that. Again, we may see a few showers roll through the Avalon and parts of the west coast and south coast through the overnight tonight. And then eventually we'll see some showers work their way towards southeastern portions of Labrador. You can see that low, that area of low pressure spinning, and that is what's responsible for those showers. Overnight tonight, temperatures will dip into the single digits for Lab West, otherwise around 11 to 13 degrees overnight tonight. Generally looking at southwesterly or westerly winds through the overnight as well, but not overly impressive, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. But temperatures will sit between 12 to 16 degrees. Now, as we head into tomorrow, the day should start pretty decent, mix of sun and cloud through the day. But as this area of low pressure moves over, it is going to be a bit unsettled. So the chance of some showers certainly in the mix there as well. And some of these showers could spark some thunderstorms as well. Those showers will end up across Labrador, at least the south eastern portion of Labrador as you head into the evening hours. But the chance of showers will hang on across the island for most of the afternoon and clearing out by the time we get into Sunday. Eventually we'll see some more showers through the afternoon on Sunday up across Labrador, but really it is going to be a beautiful day across the island as we head into your Sunday. Now, as far as the thunderstorm risk goes for tomorrow, like I said, some of them may develop into the afternoon, and if we do see these develop, we could see some pretty heavy rain showers with those as well. So keep that in mind if you do have any outdoor plans. I do think they'll be fairly scattered in nature, but still the chance there. Temperatures tomorrow will sit in the upper teens, low 20s with winds out of the west gusting anywhere from about 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Up across Labrador, this is where the heat is. Temperatures will sit into the mid to upper 20s through the day with the exception of southeastern portions of Labrador. But as we get into Sunday, those temperatures are really going to ramp up, and that will be the story pretty much across the board. Start to get into some of the colder air, though, for the northern portion of Labrador, around 12 degrees. And Cartwright, you will hover around 17. Long-range forecast showing a cool down by the time we get into Tuesday with some rain, but right back up there as we get into Wednesday. A pretty decent stretch of weather this weekend, if I might say so myself. For central Newfoundland, you're looking at some showers by the time we get into Wednesday evening. Western Newfoundland as well. And up across Labrador, your temperatures are going to stay warm tonight, 27, or this week, 27 to 28 degrees, cooling as we get into Wednesday, and same thing for Western Labrador. Overnight lows dipping into the single digits. Here's a great shot. Our weather photo. Calm day, beautiful day. Thank you in Bay Large, and thank you to Sheila for that photo. If you have any weather photos, you can send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, that's a great shot. What a beautiful area. Friday, and we're going to find out now who is celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Have a look. Happy anniversary to Ed and Violet Beaton of Gander. They've been married 51 years. Happy 64th anniversary tomorrow to Harvey and Murtis Moland of Musgrave Harbour. Congratulations to Gordon and Elsie Murphy of St. John's on their 56th anniversary. Wishing Munden and Linda Coates a happy 50th anniversary. They're now living in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Happy 61st anniversary to Cecil and Juanita Chater in Labrador City. Reg and Gloria Penny of Port Blandford are celebrating 51 years of marriage. Donna and Gerald Rogers are celebrating a golden anniversary tomorrow in Cape Ray. Anniversary greetings going out to Ed and Geneva Penny, who've been married 53 years. Happy 58th wedding anniversary to Gerald and Marie Perry of Glovertown. Congratulations to Blanche and Des Waddleton on their 55th anniversary. Wishing Howard and Ruth Martin of Bryant's Cove a happy 59th anniversary. Happy 52nd anniversary to Bernard and Vera Quinlan of Buckins. Derm and Diane Flynn of Appleton have been married 55 years. Congratulations. Best wishes to Eli and Linda Petton in Calgary, who are marking a golden anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary also to Leo and Joyce Leonard, who celebrated yesterday. Glenda and Vance Belbin of Corner Brook are also celebrating 50 years together. Happy 60th anniversary to Jim and Vivian Gulliver of Portugal Cove. Happy 55th anniversary to Gordon and Florence James of Upper Island Cove. Marion and Henry Thorne of Tor Bay are celebrating their 59th anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to Eric and Phoebe Thorne from Thornley. They've been married 62 years. Happy 56th anniversary to John and Kathy Hewitt from Grand Falls, Windsor. It's a 57th anniversary for Annie and June Whalen of Hodges Cove. Happy 57th anniversary also to Nick and Hilda Green of Winterton. Wishing Frank and Winifred Bishop of Cupids a happy 65th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Dennis and Pauline Johnson of Conception Bay South. Another milestone here. Happy 50th to Ken and Barbara O'Brien of St. John's. Diane and Andrew Barker of Grand Falls, Windsor are also celebrating the Big 5-0 today. Congratulations. Happy 61st anniversary to Wes and Ann Shepherd of Corner Brook. Happy 50th anniversary to Margaret and Patrick Kavanagh from Buren. Congratulations to Vince and Kay Billard of Port au Choix, who are celebrating 53 years together. Happy 52nd anniversary to Len and Julia Lynch of Wabush. Happy 56th anniversary today to Richard and Ethel Park of Gillams. Gord and Lona Storn of Harbor Grace are celebrating 50 years of marriage today. Congratulations. Now to some birthdays. Birthday greetings going out to Bruce Pittman of Badger, who just turned 91. Happy 90th birthday to Olive Sampson from Brig Bay, now in Flowers Cove. Long and Tall from City Hall, Howard March, just turned 91 in Corner Brook. Happy 93rd birthday to Melva Warren in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 96th birthday to Marie Bennett of Cape St. George. Birthday greetings going out to Agnes Gulliver on her 90th birthday. Happy birthday to Gladys Dredge, who just turned 91. Wishing Jim Wells from Cox's Cove a happy 92nd birthday. Happy birthday to Absalom Baker of Bay Largent, who turns 92 today. Happy 92nd birthday also to Adrian Power of Chapel Arm. Happy 90th birthday today to Dorcas Ginshard from Pasadena. Happy 90th birthday also to Virginia Payne of St. John's, and wishing Florence Hopkins of Greens Harbor a happy 93rd birthday.
We're going to take you back to 1990 and a show all about fiberglass boat building.
Well, they don't make them quite like this anymore. Stay with us. We're dedicating the back half of Here and Now to a Land and Sea look back. We're celebrating 60 years of the iconic CBC program. Jane 80 will be by with more. That's just ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane 80, host of Land and Sea. This fall we're celebrating a big anniversary, 60 years on the air. So this summer, leading up to our special anniversary, we've been dipping into our archives for Here and Now viewers. Today we're going to take you back to 1990 and a show all about fiberglass boat building factories. This show was hosted by Bill Kelly, a show called A Sea of Fiberglass.
She's made from wood, but she's no ordinary boater. Caught in the fall season till midwinter's over. See her high round the bow, and she's all totted under, and from stem to stern, she's our Newfoundland's wonder.
Buddy was his name and the other fellas, making it for the harbor in their Newfoundland wonder, the glorious wooden boat. She's been romanticized in song, immortalized in verse. Now, alas, she may soon be eulogized, for many believe her days are numbered, that she's about to fall victim to what was once considered a cheap plastic imposter, the fiberglass boat. Fiberglass holds none of the mystique normally associated with a master boat builder at work. It's about as exciting as watching paint dry. But today, in the outports of Newfoundland, fiberglass is fast becoming the preferred choice of most small boat fishermen. The latest statistics from the Fisheries Loan Board show applications for maintenance-free fiberglass outnumbering wood by more than 10 to 1. Wood may still be a sentimental favorite, but sentimentality counts for naught when it comes to scraping and painting. And in these days of microwave ovens and instant everything, it's little wonder that fiberglass plants are popping up all over.
Hi everyone, I'm Bill Kelly. Today we're in Clarenville, but these days we could be almost anywhere in Newfoundland and still be within a gunshot of one of these plants. Over the past couple of years, there's been a real explosion in the number of fiberglass boat building factories, up from about a half dozen to well over 30, producing everything from the small pond boats to the big 65-footers.
Here in Clarenville, Milton Fiberglass got started almost by accident. About 2 years ago, Hubert Stringer was helping a friend pick out a new fiberglass boat. But everywhere they went, there was a long waiting list. At one plant, Hubert's friend was 97th on the list. At another, 64th. So Hubert thought,
well, if that demand is out there, why couldn't we get into the action and slack up some of the backlog?
Several months and $220,000 later, Milton Fiberglass was in business.
We move her up here now.
Stringer had his boats designed locally by Bruce Fudge of Roberts Arm, and his entire staff was put through a 19-week training course by an expert brought in from Nova Scotia. Stringer built his first few boats in a converted garage, but it wasn't long before he was operating out of a brand new building and turning out 18 and 23-footers, a couple a week. Not bad for a 63-year-old construction company owner who was starting out from scratch at a time when most people his age would be winding down for retirement.
Put air on it.
Making a fiberglass boat is a lot like baking a cake. The same principle anyway.
There she goes.
You start off by greasing the mold with a release wax. Then you add the ingredients, in this case several layers of fiberglassing material, and when it's cured, you pop the finished product out of the mold, just as the boys are doing here.
This is what your mold looks like inside, no?
There's obviously a lot more to it than baking a cake. There's a whole lot more at stake if something goes wrong on the water. But the analogy is sound. That's exactly the way a boat builder explained it to us, and he ought to know.
As you go right across over there now and lift up the tail of it.
Besides the regular fishing boats, Stringer is putting cabins on some of his 23-footers.
Watch your fingers now. A cabin cuddy, we call it. That goes on in front, and that's nice for the fishermen. If he got caught out, he can stay in it all night. And we've got several requests for those now. People go scalloping, they goes out for a couple of nights, scallop dragging, and it's big enough for a couple of men to lie down in and be comfortable.
As good as a boat may look on the factory floor, it means nothing if she's cranky on the water. This morning, they're putting both the 23-footer and the little 18 through their paces. That's Hubert's son and business partner Oliver in the 23-footer.
If I lose my cap, gotta put it on lock.
The guy in the 18 is a potential paying customer, Kings Cove fisherman Gary Monks. On shore, Hubert is watching every move, as are a bunch of guys who saw the boats and came down for a look.
Fisherman loves them, they think the world of them. They're shape and clean water boat. We had a nice finish on our boat. The man came over from Nova Scotia and put what he called a yacht finish. Our boats are real smooth, they're like smooth window glass. And we also add the colour. It's not painted, it's not taped on, it's all done into the mould. When she comes out of the mould, she's a complete boat.
Gary, what do you think, everyone?
Oh, boy, it's beautiful.
Yeah?
Beautiful.
Back at the plant, the crew has begun preparatory work on 2 new boats. A 16-and-a-half-footer for the guy who wants to go out and jig a few fish, and a 20-foot cabin cruiser. The wooden plugs they're working on right now will eventually be used to take off a fiberglass mold. This is very time-consuming and expensive work. Creating a mold from start to finish takes at least a couple of months and costs about $1,000 a foot. To look at these guys at work, you'd swear they were at it for years. And even the man who trained them initially, Harley Sandford of Lunenburg, says he can hardly believe they've come so far so quickly. Remember Gary Monks, the fisherman who took the 18-footer out for a test run? Well, he bought one in the spring, and eventually we made our way up to Kings Cove to see what he thought of her.
As far as I'm concerned, they're far ahead of the wooden. They don't sag. You don't burn near so much gas. I mean, the same thing when you house them up in the falls when you launch them in the spring. You got no maintenance on them. There's no painting them or nothing like that. So they're far ahead of the wooden boat, as far as that's my opinion anyway. I've always had wooden boats, but I wouldn't trade in this one for all the wooden ones I've ever had.
Down off the Burin Peninsula, in the Fortune Bay community of English Harbour East, we've tracked down another man who recently took delivery of a 23-footer from the Clarenville plant. Gus Labour wanted an all-purpose boat, one he could use primarily in the trap fishery and for scallop dragging. But this morning, he and his wife Lucy are out fishing turbot instead. Ordinarily, Gus would be scallop fishing right now, but he only got the boat a few weeks ago and hasn't had time to fit her out. Once Gus does get straightened away, he'll often be out overnight, and that's why he ordered the cabin boat. He won't need the cabin today, though. Gus is only pulling 8 nets, and he and his wife should be finished up in a couple of hours. Although right now they're into a good run of fish. They could be a bit longer.
Well, Gus, you're going to need a lot of fish at 35 cents a pound to pay for your new boat.
Yeah, there is.
How do you find her?
Yeah, not too bad, boys. Pretty good.
Well, you've only had her now, what, a month or so?
Yeah, about a month, yeah.
Has she lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good in the water?
Oh, yeah, she's good in the water, yeah.
Gus, you're a fellow who's been in boats all of your life, mostly wooden boats.
Yeah.
How does she compare with the wooden boat?
Oh, there's no comparison at all.
Gus Labour will make a good day's pay this morning, but with the fishery so poor in many parts of the province, good paydays are few and far between. And that means trouble could be brewing for many of the province's boat builders, especially some of the newer ones like Hubert Stringer in Clarenville. Stringer, however, hopes to avoid that pitfall by diversifying into a whole range of other products. In addition to boats, Milton Fiberglass is already producing several products, such as trawl tubs and a sled for snowmobiles, and they'll soon be producing a number of others, including shower stalls, tub enclosures, and a cap for pickup trucks. Of all his products, though, Hubert Stringer believes one in particular holds the most promise.
Yeah, this is our septic tanks now, Bill, this one.
Oh, I see. So this is the completed product.
This is the one completed, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We got one more cover to make now for this end of it. The cover is like this one up here, look.
Right.
This cover will fit either side.
Yeah.
Don't make any difference which side you put it on.
And I imagine, Hubert, there's quite a demand for these things, is there?
Oh, yes, sir, yes, yeah. That'll replace the iron ones, steel ones.
Now, Hubert, what's the advantage of your fiberglass septic tank, say, compared to the steel one?
Well, this one will never rust. It will never rust. It's there forever.
So it'll never give out?
Never give out. We tell our customers a 100-year guarantee with no rust.
That's not bad, is it? Well, one thing for sure, none of your customers are going to be able to come back and claim it.
No, that's true, that's true. Yeah.
Now, what about cost?
The cost is a bit more. This one sells for 600, plus your tax.
Compared to?
The other one is something like probably 450, 500.
I see.
Plus the tax.
Well, that's
so
not a whole
big
lot.
difference, no.
So with any kind of luck, Hubert, this will become a very important part of your overall operation?
We're hoping it will be a quarter of our business.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In the meantime, boats will continue to be the mainstay at Milton Fiberglass. And there's nothing more gratifying to the builder than to see another one being loaded aboard a trailer, ready for delivery. We're in Centreville, Bonavista Bay now, at Fiberglass Works Limited, another relatively new boat building factory that's making quite a name for itself around the province. This is home to the Seabreeze line of boats, 18, 19, and 23 footers. Not yet 3 years old, Fiberglass Works has produced well over 100 boats, and they're scattered all over the province, from the Avalon Peninsula to northern Labrador. So far, things have worked out just fine. Couldn't be any better. But production manager Abby Norris worries about future growth. He thinks the field is becoming too crowded.
When we started a couple of years ago, I think there was 13 plants. I think there's now in excess of 30. So everybody is jumping in, and what's going to happen? There's going to be nothing for nobody. So I think you'll see a lot of plants closing down over the next 2-3 years, I'd say.
So you figure there are too many plants now, eh?
Yes, there is. Yeah,
and
definitely.
I suppose what that affects is the markup, because everybody's cutting their margin as much as possible.
That's right. You try do the best you can without losing. I mean, that's the name of the game. If you've got to be in business and losing, close your doors and get out.
No point, that's right.
No point, no point. No. We keep 4 of us going there about 9-10 months of the year. We're hoping to build a piece on in the spring, maybe 2 or 3 more guys. So the area really needs it. I don't know what government can do about it, if anything, but they should try and control the plants being started, because pretty soon there's going to be too many and nobody's going to have anything.
All 3 Seabreeze boats have gone over pretty well, but the bestseller by far has been their 19-footer. It's rapidly becoming the company's bread and butter boat.
The little cabin boat we got there seems to be going over quite well. We sold most of the cabin boats. What we sold the year was cabin boats. She is the one that's doing it for us, yeah. Without that one, we've been biting our nails a long time ago. We tend to put a little more material into our boats. She's extra strong, handles quite well. The boys put the extra bit of time into the boat, right? Sanding, grinding, taking off the sharp edges. In the long run, I think it pays off.
We move on now from Centreville to Lewisport, from one of the newer fiberglass plants to one of the very first established on the island, Bayrider Boats. Bayrider is much bigger than the Centreville operation, with a wider selection of boats to choose from. But the owner here shares many of the same concerns raised by Abby Norris of Fiberglass Works. There's simply not enough work for all of the province's boat builders, according to Sid Goss, and he predicts at least half of them will eventually go out of business.
I think this island can maintain somewhere around a dozen or so boat builders. There's enough demand to keep 12 producers healthy and viable. Again, there's not enough to keep 30 builders viable. If 15 go out of business and we're left with the 12 or 15 good operators, that'll be good. Competition is good. It keeps us on our toes, keeps everybody on their toes, and what's left over will be the half that's the best.
In other words, it'll be survival of the fittest. And naturally, Goss figures his experience will place him among the survivors. Besides, Sid Goss has a knack of turning misfortune to advantage. That's how he got into Fiberglass Boats in the first place.
Well, we started the company back in '79. And actually, we started almost by accident. I happened to be laid up for a year with a broken ankle, and while I was recovering, I was going to build a boat for myself. Again, and the idea was that if I was going to build a boat, just build a fiberglass one, something was going to last. So I started it, and it created so much interest around the community that when we were finished, we had several orders for boats. That was 10 years ago. In 1980, we built our first building to actually start, well, what you see here now, more or less.
Okay, this 20-foot mall right there.
Yeah.
This one there is our 18-foot mall.
Yeah.
And in the oven there we have two 22-foot malls.
What the foreman is showing us here are the various molds for Bayrider's boats. Sid Goss depends on fishermen for most of his business, and the more molds he has, the more variety he can offer them.
We build anywhere from a 9-foot dinghy to a 31-foot longliner. And in between we've got an 18-footer, a 20-footer, 22, we've got a 25 and a 27. We can pretty well build, within those ranges from 9 foot to 31 feet, we can pretty well build what a fella wants, again. Now the hulls, the nature of fiberglass like that, you can't change the hull of a boat like that, but as far as interior layout goes, it's, we can pretty well do what he wants.
The farther we go, the bigger they get. Here in Springdale, Otto Yates specializes in the famous Cape Island boats. Yates still turns out a fair number of 18-footers and the like, but he spends most of his time these days on small longliners ranging in size from 30 to 42 feet.
This one here is our mole, and that's the boat that was built in the mole.
Otto Yates is a man who comes by his trade honestly. He was building wooden boats long before fiberglass came on the scene.
I guess you'll notice by the workmanship as you go along that we're trying to do a half-decent job because fiberglass has just been more or less introduced in Newfoundland in the bigger boats. We're a bit later than in the rest of the maritime provinces. So by putting out a good product, you'll prove to the fishermen that you got a good boat. I think most fishermen know that when they get the boat here, it's pretty strong and sturdy and seaworthy. In fact, we haven't done a warranty job since we opened the shop 5 or 6 years ago.
When you guys started, Newfoundland fishermen were very leery of the fiberglass boat, weren't they?
Yeah, this is why I just mentioned that if we could put out a good product to prove that the fiberglass boat is good, no doubt the market will grow and eventually there'll be no wooden boats.
So you figure the days of the wooden boat are numbered, do you?
Yeah, well, if a fisherman buys a wooden boat, he probably got it for 10 or 15 years. If he buys a fiberglass boat built to solid glass like these are built, these are solid glass. And they're good, well, the lifespan is unknown almost. I guess they're good for 30 or 40 years, probably more.
This is our 30-foot trap skiff.
So this is the brand new
What
one,
you're
right?
seeing here is a new breed of boat and a new breed of boat builder. Otto's son George joined the company after graduating from university with a degree in commerce. The boat George is showing off here is a first for the province, a longliner converted into an open trap skiff.
The ones we've finished so far, we finished as small longliners. And there's one that fished on the Labrador all this summer, and one that's fished up in Bonavista Bay, and there's one up in Snathny. And all those boats proved out very well. So we're quite pleased. So we're expecting good things for next year with that boat.
So this one now is spoken for, is it?
Yes, that one there is going up in Petty Harbour. And this is a little bit different than the first ones we've done. It's an open trap skiff, 30-foot open trap skiff, 12 feet wide. It's nice and deep and a good carrier. All reports are that it's a good sea boat.
So George, you're into this for the long haul?
Yes, I am. I plan to pursue a career in this industry. I think it has a good future, and we're trying to keep on top of all the new changing technologies. This is why we're constantly trying to develop new molds to meet the changing needs of today's fishermen and tomorrow's fishermen. So we're quite proud of our boats, and we enjoy doing them. So it's not a short-term thing. We plan to be in the business for the next decade.
Back in Clarenville, Hubert Stringer is breathing a whole lot easier these days. Milton Fiberglass is going great guns, way ahead of his most optimistic projections. Stringer has doubled his staff from 6 to 12, he's operating 2 shifts, and his order book is pretty well filled.
A year ago, in November, we sold our first boat. And right now we got 150 out sold. And we got 25, 30 on order now to go. We figured if we get 50 in the year, we'd be lucky when we started, but I guess we latched down to something good, and we've satisfied the customers. Trying to satisfy the customers, I should say. But apparently we must be doing something.
Yes, sir, Hubert Stringer is doing something right, and so are other fiberglass boat builders. They're putting out a good product, and they're capturing a growing share of the market. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us back to the question raised at the beginning of the program. Is there still a place for wooden boats in the face of this ever-increasing competition? The truth is, there's room for both, and there will be for a long time to come.
And that was a show from 1990 called A Sea of Fiberglass. And obviously there are still many fiberglass boat building businesses in operation today. Maybe that's a topic we'll explore on a future Land and Sea to see how the industry has changed. We hope you enjoyed that look back at a special Land and Sea from our archives, and we'll have another story for you on Here and Now next week.
So interesting, and thanks so much to Jane 80 for bringing us these Land and Sea look backs. We've been sharing them with you every Friday throughout the summer this year, and it's in honor of the show's 60th anniversary. It's a program, of course, it's dedicated to preserving Newfoundland and Labrador's culture and community. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. Hope you can join us again on Monday, and hope you have a wonderful weekend. Good night.